Good evening, Nerd Nation. Nice to see you all. I'm glad you come back for some more. I am Zam, your host with the most, and I'd like to introduce you all to the rest of Nerd Nation. First of all, we have the geek that is Ginger, who's Greek. He's my friend, Ginger Greek. He is Panny. Welcome, Panny.
Hello.
Then there is the man who's never seen the sunset, doesn't know what darkness is, has always woken up very early. He is the P in the G, Mr. Bobby Black. Welcome, Bobby.
What does the G stand for?
You're a G, mate.
I guess I am. I'm from the hood.
Yes, finally, from Chernobyl, we have Christine Black, the most enigma of enigmas. No one knows what she looks like. We've never seen her. Hello, Chris.
Dude, we literally went for burgers 4 years ago.
Supposed to know that. No one was supposed to know that. All right. There
I'm an international woman of mystery. Yeah, and
Now,
it will remain that way.
Thank you very much, Chris. Now it says Zam's conspiracy here because we're going to start off this show with a conspiracy of mine. Now, as many people know, I am a cab driver. That's my profession. And I picked up somebody who worked for Industrial Light of Magic. This person told me he was working on a Marvel movie, but he couldn't tell me what film it was. Now, I was throwing a lot of shots at him. And then when I said that he was the film The Eternals movie, and his reaction was a little bit different. Like, yes, I gotcha. So I believe that this film set I went to, which was in Oxfordshire, in Oxford, was the set of The Eternals. Now, this was in the middle of a field. There was a lot of huts and stuff around. There was loads of people everywhere. I didn't see any actors, though, unfortunately. But there's the idea of the film being maybe made in England. Excite anyone? Does anyone have any ideas of why the in Oxford? Does anyone have any ideas of why let me repeat myself. Does anyone have any ideas of why the Eternals could be possibly filmed in Oxford? And if anything, we know Marvel is definitely making a film in Oxford. If it's not the Eternals, what could it be? Any ideas, please?
I think the next one on the docket after Eternals is The Legend of Shang-Chi, but I don't think they've started even pre-production on that. So maybe they're doing some Black Widow, because I know that they said that they were doing some like reshoots for Black Widow recently with William Hurt. So I mean, maybe it has to do with some of that William Hurt stuff that they're doing. I don't know, because images just came out of William Hurt looking like really old, and and I don't know where those pictures were taken, but I mean, maybe Zam secretly got him. He just doesn't want to out himself.
Sorry. Apologize. Sorry about that. Yes, I don't want to out myself. I wish I did take some more pictures. I wanted to really go around, ask some questions. I wanted to really ruffle myself in there, but I couldn't leave my car behind, unfortunately. I had to get the hell out of there. Ginge, any ideas?
I wouldn't be surprised if they're filming the Eternals. I mean, in Oxfordshire, it'll probably be a big sound studio. You know how Marvel just pretty much does most of their stuff in a sound studio. Barely anything is filmed outside, because obviously to stop people leaking footages and spoilers and all that shit. It makes sense. I mean, I don't know how many films have been filmed here by Marvel. We have really good tax rates. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Oxfordshire. Maybe they're filming in the Lake District, because it's quite similar to some scenes you'll see in the Eternals. The kind of countryside stuff. Again, that's all speculation on my part. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I can't think of anything else they'd be filming there, unless they're doing Star Wars.
No, it's definitely 100% Marvel, because the guy told me it was.
Right. Okay.
But he just,
So,
but well, let's say like with a few British actors in there, it could make sense that if they're not going to be donning American accents, that if they happen to be Eternals based in the United Kingdom, then someone like what's his face?
wait, hang on. The Black Knight's going to be in this one in the Eternals, and that's a British champion. So yeah, more than likely they were filming something like that. So probably Oxfordshire because it's green and shit. So they're probably filming some medieval scenes there with the Black Knight.
Yeah, I would love to see some of that.
That could be it.
That.
Yeah,
that's a possibility. Chris, you got anything to chime in with regarding this? Is possible Eternals film being filmed in Oxfordshire as we speak?
Were you talking to Chris?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was jumping on the Cocoa Pops.
No problem, Chris. You keep jumping away.
Couldn't care less.
Cocoa Pop? What?
Cocoa Pops.
Oh, Cocoa Pops. I'm like, what the?
No, not Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Pops.
That's what we said, you silly moo.
No, because Americans don't have them.
Well, that's where their country's in
They
chaos.
also don't have free healthcare, but
They only have those shitty like cereal that are saturated with so much sugar, you can actually melt them into syrup.
Yeah, one spoonful will give you diabetes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Diabetes.
So yeah, well, I don't like speculations, so I don't really care.
Oh, live a little. Come on.
I'm living more than you bitches.
I don't like
I'm just doing
it
it in 2 rooms instead of
Grace,
the whole world.
one speculation for sure confirmed is that they're definitely 100% filming a Marvel movie there.
How do you know? Wait.
Not
How do you
series.
know was it a DC movie being filmed and they just said Marvel to throw you off?
No, I can't look. I can only go by what the guy told me. He works for Industrial Light and Magic. That's definitely 100% guaranteed because it was on my docket regarding my job. So he works for ILM, and then he told me they're filming a Marvel movie, and the film was given a special title called Sack Lunch Prod. That was its special title, but the original title of the movie, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Suck
cool.
what?
Sack Lunch Prod. That was the sort of secret title of the film.
I hate secrecy.
There we go. So I think we can move on from that because there wasn't much to say about that. What is the next topic, please?
Well,
we can talk about this.
Yes.
Because I was offended. Like, bitch, come on. Although
Chris,
I do like his movies, I won't lie. I do like his movies. They're not 100% my style, but his movies are good, like objectively. But come on, this is not the only type of movie. This is not the only type of movie that can evoke emotional response to people or to its actors. I mean, I don't believe I've ever cried in one of his movies, but Endgame, oh my god, I wanted to cry so much.
Yeah, me too. Niagara Falls, for real.
I mean, I about jumped out of my chair when Mjolnir came back to Captain America. That's one of the things I've wanted to see in the MCU since like the first Avengers movie. Not that it would have been good if we saw it in that first Avengers movie, but like that, that invokes the emotion of like victory and like just what
many emotions.
Yeah,
but if you take Infinity War and Endgame alone, I mean, those were emotional roller coaster movies from the start to the end, man. And they're 3-hour movies. Like, you can't say this is not cinema. This is the best cinema can offer when you take like a pretty much a comic book concept and you bring it to life in such a way. So I disagree with him.
I really do too. I mean, and as I said, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Scorsese's stuff. I'm not saying he's talentless. I'm not saying he's a moron. I'm just saying like it's very ignorant of him to sit there and say, oh, Marvel movies aren't stuff. That's like Jason Statham a couple years ago saying, Marvel movies, my grandma could do that in my do it in this my grandma could do it in a green screen room. And it's like,
Yeah, and then he
Jason
was
Statham say
mad.
that.
Huh.
Jason Statham makes all types of bollocks, man. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it's fucking idiot he is. But yeah, like for me, I'm a huge Martin Scorsese fan. Apart from maybe one or two of his films, I generally tend to like love his stuff. But he's wrong. He's 100% wrong. In every sense of the word, because it's like the well, okay, prime example, Black Panther. You can't tell me that didn't evoke emotion in a certain group of people. You know, seeing like such a powerful, prominent character in the MCU and like loved
You mean
by
Black
so
Widow?
many within the community. I mean, how many fucking films has he done with Italians? You know, being front and center. So, and just the sheer cinematic scope of it. All right, yes, it's all green screen and things like that, but they they do it right. The effects are usually like spot on. You're emotionally invested in these characters throughout their whole journey till you get to the point of Endgame, which is something that just hasn't been achieved before, and it was done right in every sense of the word. And it's one of the best cinematic moments that an entire fucking God knows how many millions of us shared that moment of joy that everything culminated to. And you're going to get some old fucking prick coming along and decreeing that, oh no, these aren't cinema. Man, I love you, Scorsese, but go fuck yourself.
well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he would have said, "Oh, this isn't Broadway," I probably would have agreed with him. But it's like, no, he said cinema. I mean, like the whole thing with like Captain America and Peggy at the end of Endgame. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man, I teared up at that because that's Captain America is one of those characters that I was invested in the MCU. And Endgame ending on that moment where Cap got his life, like his ending his life, because we've watched him from First Avenger. Even the end of First Avenger all the way through to the end of through Endgame, and it's just like Cap hasn't had a life. He's been doing his job this whole time, and then to see him go back and get his happy ending is just like amazing. And like the way they played it and portrayed it, I mean, that's not big action set pieces. That's not, that I didn't get that feeling from an action set piece or a green screen or anything. I got that conveyed from earlier in Endgame when Captain America was standing in Peggy Carter's office looking through those mini blinds, seeing Peggy, and you could see it on his face. He's like, I could totally stay here right now.
Yeah.
Send the pin particles to Tony, and I could stay here with her. And he's like, and you knew he wasn't because he was on the job.
But I mean, and that the thing.
To be fair, I would have preferred if America Says had remained available. Wink, wink. But anyway.
Martin Scorsese actually said that he's never seen any of the Marvel movies.
No, he said he tried.
No, he said he tried.
He tried. What does that mean?
But yeah, what does that mean exactly?
What it's not for him. Okay, move on then.
I guess so,
but here's the thing, though. In order for when you go to the very emotional stuff that's in the more later movies, you have to be invested in the characters. So you have to watch all of them so that you know their story. You are connected to them. If you're not asked to do that, and you just pass judgment based on incomplete knowledge, like it doesn't work that way. It's ignorant. It's ignorant.
It's the evolution of cinema as well. One thing the Marvel movies have compared to a lot of other films, it's not like all of these comic book movie films are appreciated by fans. We pan a lot of shit, and when it is shit, and one thing the Marvel films have a lot of is heart. They have so much heart. It's amazing. And I wish Martin Scorsese could appreciate that, but that's why a lot of people love him. You know, we've been on this massive journey, and we love the payoffs and the acknowledgements of previous things brought up again in future films. We love all of these things, and it's there's a lot of payoff, and I really appreciate it all. It's unfortunate Martin Scorsese is of a different era. I love his stuff too. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing The Irishman. I'm not sure about you guys.
Oh, I'm so hyped. So fucking hyped for that film.
I'm really looking. I want to see
wait.
a good old fashioned Scorsese gangster film. I love that shit. I live for that shit. You know, Godfather and Casino, two of the greatest movies ever. You know, Departed's not a bad film either. I love that shit, man. I love how he does it. When he does a gangster film, there's nobody.
You mean Goodfellas?
Sorry,
he never did Godfather.
Goodfellas.
Yeah,
he did Goodfellas.
Yeah, I know. You said Godfather.
No, I said Goodfellas and Casino, and also.
I got cotton in my ears. Sorry, my apologies.
Well, we can check the replay and see who's right.
Oh God. Okay. Well, while
if I cared enough.
Either way, I made Goodfellas, you know, and I also made Departed. Three of my favorite films. I'm not sure if you guys seen The Mean Streets or not. It's okay, but yeah, that's all I have to say about Scorsese.
Yeah.
Just to finish up, here's my thing: is that, you know, with Scorsese, I would honestly challenge him to, like, the MCU is very good about taking directors and putting, you know, taking directors and putting them in their own genre and letting them play. I mean, look at Taika Waititi and Thor Ragnarok. Look, I wasn't a big fan of Thor Ragnarok, but for a Taika Waititi movie, everybody loved it.
Everyone loved it. Yeah.
I loved it.
They did. Yeah.
So my challenge for Scorsese.
I'll always accept I'm in the minority. We're in the minority, and that's fine.
I love it.
I loved it.
I love
it was my favorite Thor movie.
But here's my thing: why not just get challenge? I challenge Scorsese to take on a Marvel project.
Yeah,
and make it a grounded, low-level MCU film. Like I mean, I don't even care if it's like a Hammerhead movie based on the Mob.
Oh my God, you read my mind. You read my fucking mind, mate. I love
he could probably do a good job with the Defenders or Marvel Knights or something like that. Something grounded and just low level.
Some about the rogues, about some of the rogue
characters.
The
rogues, yeah, fantastic.
Do films on
why
rogue
not
characters.
The Punisher?
No, not on heroes. Do a focus series on the villains, or maybe like some of the organized crime ones, maybe like the Kingpin. Oh my God, imagine a Scorsese Kingpin film. Oh my God.
Oh yes.
God.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let like I challenge Scorsese. You don't have to, like, Joker just proved it because it's making gangbusters. You don't have to have some big CGI battle at the end to have a good receptive movie. So it's like, Scorsese, I mean, dude, get on the bandwagon and make something in your own image that is within this universe. If you say, you know, oh, this isn't cinema, then make it cinema. Like, do something that you would like to see in this universe, because I'm sure Marvel would be open-minded about it.
You know what? Scorsese needs to watch The Boys. I'm sure he would fucking appreciate that. For real.
Yeah, that is
Scorsese type of, that's got some Scorsese elements to it, you know, and I could see him appreciating that. I can see him, you know, making a show like that if he decides to get his hooks into superheroes.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen, but you know, we can dream. You know,
you can teach an old dog.
If you're gonna do Punisher, then give that to Tarantino. That would be fucking.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah, Tarantino.
But it would be 100%. So fucked up though, man. In the end, like, it wouldn't make sense.
No, well, not really. If some of the Punisher comics are fucked up, they're really fucked up, you know. So Tarantino's the right man for it, for sure.
Oh man, I'd watch that. I'd fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
me too. He'd have so much fun with it. Yeah. So
we would like to move on.
Yep. Yeah, just quickly, soon as we're talking films and all of that, so just onto Harley Quinn, the TV show, which is animated. It got its release date, which is, I think, January 2020.
No, it's November.
Okay.
What, this November?
It's November. It's end of November.
What's it
Oh,
called?
not bad.
Harley Quinn. Hold on, I got it. It
Coming out in
is.
January then.
Keep talking. No dad.
No daddy, no daddy.
No dad. November 29th.
Oh,
That's not what I'm asking. The title of the show, damn it, so I could put a banner up.
Oh, it's called Harley Quinn series. I don't know.
The Harley Quinn series.
Harley Quinn series.
Okay.
Our tech guy is falling asleep over there.
Maybe, dude, I'm sick. Fuck off. Can I say how much Harley Quinn annoys me, at least in the games?
She is really annoying in the Arkham games. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but she's great to play
so
with in one of the
annoying.
short stories.
Look, my favorite part of the games so far has been when I found her tied up and gagged, and I removed the gag and I regagged her. When I regagged her, that was the most satisfying moment in my Batman gaming career.
I bet.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
so annoying in the games.
I know nothing about this series, I'll be honest, but personally, I just not a
It
fan
looks
of it.
really good.
I don't know what it's
really
about,
good.
so I'm just throwing this out there. But I'm not a fan of this anti-hero Harley Quinn. I like her being a crazy bitch who's murderous and psychotic. That's the Harley Quinn I like, and I don't like what they've been doing with her recently. Not a fan of it. I don't know if this shows anything like.
Well, to be fair, she
heroes
started
thing,
from somewhere. She's pretty much like one of Joker's victims.
Here-
So, doing like a sort of like a redemption. What's the word? Fuck.
Arc.
Penance. She's
Arc.
doing her
Yeah.
penance.
It's actually something that would probably make sense, especially if Joker is not in the picture. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been stories in the past of people through tragic, unforeseen circumstances have ended up being a villain. I mean, these are like some of the, best people, like Doc Octopus. Nevertheless, I don't want redemption. I just want this person to remain.
I'm okay with it if it's done right.
It's fine, but the thing with Harley Quinn is she's a very interesting character if done right. If you just have her as just nothing more than just a psychotic bitch, then what you do is she just has no depth. But Harley Quinn has a lot of emotion, a lot of depth to her character. And I hope this series does explore it, doesn't just take a fun route with it. Because none of the animated films have kind of...
Yeah, and this is exactly the reason why it annoys me in the games. Because
redemption not fine with. Not fine with still, nevertheless. It's
Whatever,
redemption I don't like.
dude.
I don't want
Whatever,
that from her.
dude. I'm
Okay,
okay
that's
with
fine.
that.
No, that's cool.
Well,
But the reason why I found her annoying in the game is that because they stripped her of any depth in character. It's
Yeah,
not
in the game.
developed. It's like it's just there for decoration. Like no,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Riddler was annoying in those games as well.
Oh my god! Yes.
Didn't like him in there.
Fucking Riddler! Oh my fucking god! Like, I'm gonna comment what the bad guys in that game were commenting. Does that fucker have nothing better to do than put fucking question marks all over the place? Fuck you, Riddler! Like, seriously, he's so annoying.
That's a part of his OCD psychosis, though. Like, I mean, he does that because that he's mentally disturbed.
Yeah, but I'll give you one thing. I'll give Riddler one thing. Everyone else have fucking henchmen fucking protecting them. The Riddler does not. The Riddler is just fucked up in the head, but he does so on merit, and that I can respect.
Can we talk Hush very briefly then? Hush spoilers.
Wait, how do we get from
Hush? We talked about that. Like that was one of the first things we talked about.
Did we do spoilers? Did we do spoilers, by the way?
Okay. Nobody cares about Hush, man. Nobody's watched it.
What the fuck is that?
Regarding the fact that obviously Riddler was the villain.
Yeah, no, I watched Hush, and I could give you a whole arm.
But that came out of left field. I thought it was that other dude who's been his best mate.
Never heard of it.
That was basically no, because that was them out of left field trying to make it different than the comic books. Because in the comic books, Thomas Elliot was Hush, and the thing is like, oh well, since this is we want to throw our own curveball in there, and then they made it the Riddler. Please. Yeah, one of my favorite story arcs in Batman comic books is Hush. All right, so in the comic books, here's what happened. Hush was Batman defeated Hush, and then Batman figured out who was behind it. It was the Riddler, and the Riddler. This whole conversation at the end of the comic book was between Batman and Riddler in like the cell, or not the cell, but like the visitation area, and it's just this whole thing about Riddler just getting one over on Batman. Even though he didn't win per se, it was his victory. Like, and he just, the only thing is that Batman got one up on him because he said, well, I'm going to tell Ra's al Ghul who used his Lazarus pit, so you can't tell him my identity. So basically Riddler hit him with a stalemate. Batman and it was one of the biggest victories in Riddler's arsenal that really, besides Joker, I don't feel like anyone else has ever gotten over him. And that's one of the things is that I think the Riddler is, that was more impactful because it wasn't a big fight sequence between Riddler and Batman. It was a mind game between Riddler and Batman, and they came out to a stalemate. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, and they took that away in the animated movie.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I like the animated movie for the most part, but that part really cheesed me off because I'm like, I was just like, why would you make and then the Riddler's like going toe to toe with Batman.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off so much.
I'm like, come on, the Riddler's not a
fucking fist fight. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
that wouldn't happen.
Stupid.
Come on.
That was so stupid, man. Come on.
Yeah, totally agree.
Oh. That bit I really hated. I'm going to back you now. I'm going to fight this. Come on.
You guys, I'm actually in a role-playing game that is set in Gotham, and I'm so excited.
What?
Role-playing games.
Is this one of those sex things again?
No, not that kind.
Okay.
Is that stupid Android game? Is that stupid Android game?
Like D&D, like World of Darkness.
What is that on your what do you call it? What's that fucking site called? Discord.
Discord. We do it on StreamYard too. We do it everywhere.
Cool.
but it's so fucking cool. I'm so excited about it. I love Gotham as a setting for World of Darkness because it's so dark as it is. So including like supernatural evil creatures.
Right to your heart.
I'm playing a vampire in Gotham.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just continue. What's the next subject?
Did we even finish about Harley Quinn?
No.
Sorry, I apologize.
Harley Quinn. Okay, finish about Harley Quinn.
I just wanted to add in, because I didn't have a chance to talk about the animated show. I think it looks really good. I kind of hope it takes place a lot in Arkham Asylum, because kind of the shenanigans that go on in Arkham Asylum when Batman's not there, the guards are kind of loose with the rules, and I don't think it should all take place in Arkham, but I think the first couple episodes should. And I do kind of want it to be played for comedy. Now I know you guys are all probably like, oh god, now there's no depth. I kind of like the depth that they've given Harley Quinn in the DCEU. Like, I feel like they're working on that between, with Suicide Squad, because they did give her some depth in that movie, and I did like her in that movie. And everyone's like, oh, she's an anti-hero. No, they chipped her in the back of her head, and they threw her in the middle of an alien invasion. Like, what else would you do? You'd probably do what she was doing, was wait for the right opportunity to escape. But she was sticking with people. So, everybody was very self-serving in that movie, and I think it was kind of the right move. But I don't know. I kind of hope the animated series is played for laughs. I kind of hope the DCEU kind of plays more into the depth portion of her.
The animated series is going to be more of a comedy anyway, with a darker twist, a bit more violent twist. But yeah, as far as I know, it's definitely going to be a comedy. But look, it's one of those that it's going to be interesting either way to watch. It looks amazing. If they go deeper with Harley Quinn, fantastic. If not, it's fine. It's an animated like comedy.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
I kind of just want to enjoy like and laugh, and I don't know. I mean, Harley
yeah, I'm
Quinn
up for that.
character.
I don't know, man, because
Like the Suicide Squad,
I didn't watch
animated
that.
movies are fantastic.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: I find that
some of the
Harley
best
Quinn's
ones.
story is based on tragedy. Why turn it into a comedy?
Just because of the mentality of Harley Quinn, like she's
Yeah.
broken, and she kind of uses that brokenness to kind of bring out like the hilarity of it. You know what I mean? Like it's funny, but it's not funny. But you still
Yeah,
have to kind
You're
of.
never going to get a Harley Quinn told from a very kind of somber point of view. It's just not going to happen. Like
Well, and on
nobody.
top of that, I mean, that would be a
wants to
boring
do
Harley
it, and
Quinn.
it just doesn't suit her character to be too somber.
Bobby, you did bring up something which really tickled my fancy. The idea of a show being set in Arkham Asylum, not necessarily about Harley Quinn though, but everyone generally who's locked up there. I would like to watch something like that. That would be pretty cool.
I mean, even if that's what it is, and like, because I mean, let's be honest. Like, have you guys watched Young Justice?
Not season 3.
The first 2 seasons, and I think 5 or 6 episodes of season 3.
So here's my mentality on Young Justice. Young Justice is like just a secret backdoor show for Justice League and Friends. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, if they do this with Harley Quinn, like if it's like Harley Quinn and like all of her amazing friends, but it's a show kind of based around everybody in Arkham, and they just play off of that, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't know. Sometimes when they overcomplicate things, it just becomes too much.
Yeah, I don't have like I don't have like a high expectation for this in the sense of, it has to have this and this. It's like generally with Warner Brothers, for the most part, all right, the last couple of anime films not been great for me, but they just take things and just run with it, and they're just like whatever. They're not as restricted or as stupid as the films are. So with this, they have a good track record. Let's be honest. Wonder Woman Bloodlines has just come out as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing
come out on digital.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I mean, I have it pre-ordered, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, because you hate the environment, so you're going to get it on Blu-ray, whereas I bought it digital. Yeah, see, that's the difference. Not pirated. I own the animated stuff. I watched the film pirate, but I'm
proud of you. I'm very proud of you. This guy,
PG approved.
Yeah, Ginger approved.
No,
if I like the stuff, I'll buy it.
Wait, so have you seen it?
No, I've got it on download, so I'll let you know when I see it.
Okay, I just
so
was curious.
You guys are buying shit and you're not even watching them. Fucking waste.
It's give it time, love. I just finished watching Sunny in Philadelphia and South Park, so things take time.
Yeah.
South Park, by the way.
You know what a backlog I have on Steam.
Well, there you go. You see, so you know what it's like. The South Park was great because South Park went after China in this episode, and it's fucking hilarious how they did it. Like Disney's in there as well, and it's really good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I won't say too much, but I highly recommend it. And Sunny in Philadelphia also did a really, really good thing, kind of attacking this new wave of like secular prudishness that's engulfing films that will make right-wing Christian fundamentalists happy. And they kind of tackle that subject in that episode. So it's like a double whammy from 2 of my favorite shows. So I recommend those. But I don't want to talk too much now because I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, so on to the next topic then, shall we?
Yeah, we're very DC heavy today.
That's okay. That's all right.
No problem.
But
so
I've been so pissed off about this.
Okay, as many of us know, Batman has always been known to have a no-kill policy, but personally, I don't give a shit about this no-kill policy because when I was watching Batman, he was killing everybody and everything. Michael Keaton, I love ya. Now, some people still have an issue with this. Personally, different iterations of Batman. This one kills, this one doesn't. Can't we just be happy with both iterations? Do we have to make such a big deal about it? Considering there's already iterations of Batman killing people, anyways. Chris, I'll start with you.
I have specifically moved about the video games, cause I don't know how many times I had to fucking beat up the Joker, for example. Like, in between, every time the fucker escapes, people die. So, how many lives have been lost just because Batman could not fucking kill someone? I mean, it's just taken to so much extreme that man.
Personally, Chris, personally, the amount of times he's been arrested by Batman, who's doing citizen's arrest, that's what he does because he's no executioner. You would have think that Joker would have got the electric chair a long time ago.
Well, maybe he did, but he was waiting for the execution date when he escaped, because you don't just do it overnight. It takes time for the trials to happen, then you wait in death row and whatever. And apart from that, you don't even know if Gotham has a death penalty thing going on. Do you? I don't.
Well, in the Arkham Asylum, they were going to try him.
But Gotham is based on, if I'm not mistaken, New Jersey, so I guess no, because this is in Texas.
I don't know. Holy shit, I don't know. No, but look, I mean, the reality is, like, the comics always felt
if you pause, if you want a video to be shown, just send me the link, Jason. How many times do I have to tell you?
My bad.
Just send me the link, and I'll put it up there.
All right. Don't yell at me, Mom.
I did not yell. I just sound yelly because I'm fucking sick.
Because you're radioactive.
No, I'm sick. Okay, one sec.
I mean, this you don't have to show it now. This was just going to be my point when you guys got to me. So,
if I manage to load it, that is.
Then.
Nah, give me a second.
Oh.
Well, shall we
anyway,
go on?
Keep going while I'm.
You get on to you then, Roberta, while she does her thing.
What
would you like to say regarding Batman's no-kill policy?
Yeah, that's the video that I was bringing up. I mean, it's a good explanation as to why. But as I said, I was only putting it in the thing so that she could play it when it was my turn to talk. So, I mean, we kind of have to establish these rules.
Okay, fine. I'll get back to you then, Roberta.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Okay, there we go.
My thing is just, look, the reality of America is that somebody like Joker would be dead. He would have died years ago. He would have been shot by a cop. You don't fucking need Batman. Just American cops can kill without discretion. So Joker would have had a bullet in his head a long time ago. And if I'm doing a Batman story, I'm saying fuck it. That's how I'm killing the Joker. A random off the beat cop sees the Joker, just like, oh, he's about to kill that something. Boom, dead. That's it. There goes your fucking sadistic legacy, Batman, of playing cat and mouse with this fucking psychopath, you useless billionaire prick. That's all I'm going to say on that, because the ideology of Batman as a whole pisses me off to no end. And it's something that still hasn't evolved in comics. It's just the same old tired shit. I mean, Tom King is completely shit their bed with Batman anyway. And they gave that prick 100 issues nearly. I just fucking like Batman. I like him in mediums. I like him on a film. But in the comic books and the fact that it's still going on with the same old shit, it's just like, oh, come on. It's the same with X-Men. You know, I'm a huge X-Men fan, but it needs massive changing.
Personally, I don't know how you could be frightened of this entity if it doesn't kill anybody. If people get to the idea that this thing that won't kill you, but somehow you've got to be shit scared of it at the same time. I find a bit
Exactly.
of
He's not going to kill you. So fuck him.
But here's the thing,
Yeah.
also, though. I mean, you may not have to be afraid of him for your life, but the dude will put a hurting on people. I mean, that's one thing I think that the Arkham games put a very big emphasis on is that he is shattering bones. Granted, they're the Arkham games, but if the things that he's doing, I mean, he throws like batarangs into people's eyes. Like he's not.
Yeah, he's better
not,
off killing people.
He may not kill them.
Yeah, he was just maiming them.
He's
Yeah.
He's
that's what I'm
maiming the
saying.
downtrodden. Yeah.
That is what they
Traumatizing,
fear.
the brain
Instead of
damaging.
using his wealth to help fight the problem.
And I get that. In the real world, yes. Do we want a Bruce Wayne who goes around dressed as a bat? No. I mean, no, we don't want that. But at the same time, what do these criminals deserve? Truth be told, like, what do they deserve? They deserve
It's for rehabilitation.
Okay, well then break their legs and then rehabilitate them.
I'm okay with it.
That's what he's been doing, man. Technically, but here's
That
the
all he
thing.
does is break their legs. He doesn't rehabilitate anyone.
No, but he
You know.
smashes up their face so much. You know, I'm surprised they haven't got brain damage. Some of the beatings he puts on them. You know, he's happy to beat the. You know, he's happy
If
to.
the
They already have
recidivism
brain
is
damage.
high,
No, but
then the whole system is rotten, and that's why Batman exists. So if you're Bruce
Oh
Wayne,
my
you
God.
go into politics and you change the system. It's as simple as that. And he's a billionaire. Nobody's going to
tried
fucking
that
stop
in
him.
Arkham City, and he got arrested.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
The
the whole
system, man,
fucking
the
point.
system.
Here's
But,
the
you
thing,
know,
though. Like,
Yeah, but-
okay,
Sorry.
he does what he does. I don't disagree with what he does as a money person. Like, okay, this is how you want to invest your money. Okay, go ahead, great. Like, okay, keep Gotham safe, whatever. But how are you gonna keep Gotham safe when you have to fucking beat up the same people over and over again? Like, kill the motherfuckers, or like make it look like an accident or something.
He's a billionaire
what-
who'll get off scot-free as well.
Is it
And
even
last,
gonna work
no,
like
he doesn't
that?
want to be
though?
breaking the law. But last time I checked, vigilantism is illegal as well. So he's no saint.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready for this? We all probably
Yeah,
see.
I don't understand why Manningham
Judgment
doesn't
words.
want to do
Your
it.
guilt or your antiquated sense of morality. Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth? Is he still alive?
Gotta give the boy points. He came all the way back from the dead to make this shindig happen. So, who's got a camera? Ooh, get one of me and the kid first. Then you and me, then the three of us, and then one with the crowbar. Then... You be as quiet as possible, or I'll put one in your lap first. Party pooper. No cake for you.
Love Jason Todd.
Ignoring what he's done in the past.
Man,
Blindly
Mark Hamill.
disregarding the entire graveyards he's filled, the thousands who have suffered, the friends he's crippled. You know, I thought I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. If it had been you that he'd beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil death-worshipping garbage and send him off to hell.
You don't understand. I don't think you've ever understood.
What? What, your moral code just won't allow for that? It's too hard to cross that line?
No, God Almighty, no. It'd be too damned easy. All I got to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him. Oh, so you do think about me. If I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Look at where he is now.
I'm talking about killing Penguin or Scarecrow or Dent. I'm talking about him. Just him. And doing it because he took me away from you.
I can't. I'm sorry. That is so sweet.
pussy, Batman.
What a prick.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll stop on
total
that.
prick.
But I mean-
went there, I killed him. I'll go to a place that is really dark and disturbing. Like, where the fuck are you now, mate? You fucking dickhead. You're a dark, disturbing, moody, fucking miserable cunt. Kill the wanker. It's not going to change much. Jesus Christ.
That's why Jason Todd's the better hero.
Mm.
He's just like, oh, fuck it. I'll just end the problem. Everyone see chicken
I
shit to do it.
I have the same exact issue with Daredevil. That's why I prefer the Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher's
It's like-
right.
Like,
It's
yeah,
killing Batman.
there might be collateral, but at least he gets things done.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know?
He's just like, fuck it. Just kill them all.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, do I think Joker should have got the chair a long time ago? Like, they should have walked him into Arkham and threw him in an electric chair and flipped the switch. Like, like, I'm not saying that these people shouldn't die. I'm just saying, like, you can't just have people running around. Like, then what if, like, let's say, Joe Blow cheats on his wife, and then his wife thinks that she's able to go kill him. Like,
Are you fucking serious?
yes, I'm
Are
fine.
you
no,
fucking
I mean,
serious? Are you comparing a cheating husband to
Yeah, there's a
someone who
limit.
fucking kidnaps people and has them tortured and killed? Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay,
There
so here,
are
no.
lines.
Let me do
Well,
this.
the one
Let me-
is like a fucking terrorist that terrorized Gotham for fucking years, over and fucking over.
That's
And
what
the
I'm.
other one is a fucking prick. No, you don't kill the prick. You get a divorce and get half his things.
All right, so let me do a different one for you. Then. Let me do a different one for you. Okay, so let's say that there's a mother and a father, and they fight over their kids, and their father does not have time with the kids because the mom is a dick. So then the father goes and not kidnaps, but goes and takes the kid and spends some time. The mom goes and kills the dad. I mean, it's wrong, and what he did was
not
wrong.
the
But does he deserve
same.
to
It's
die?
not- it's not the
to mention
same,
that,
though.
yeah.
I don't-
If actually there's
seeing people like
Yeah,
look,
but
look, if there's a court
we're
order
comparing,
that
like,
allow-
if the Joker did that once,
hold
and then
on,
that was it.
hold
But
on.
he's done it over and over and over
As
and
I said.
over.
Look,
and he's
your
never-
example.
He's
It's a
never
crime of passion
had
as well,
the real
Bobby.
justice.
Wait,
It's
Jack.
like having a laugh killing people. There's a difference.
Well, your example is wrong on 5,000 different levels. Okay. First of all, if there is a court order ordering the father not to visit the kid, then yes, it is kidnapping. But no, it doesn't mean you're gonna kill him.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because it's the intent is
There's a
not the
court
same.
order. There's a
The
court
dad's
order for the Joker to
intention
be
is to
arrested.
spend time with his kid. The Joker intention is to create
But here's the
chaos.
thing. No. Here's the thing: is that if there's a court order to arrest the Joker, how is it Batman's privilege to kill him?
It was
If
an
you're-
accident.
Well, no, this is what I mean. Like, the cops should be doing
He's
their fucking
not-
job in killing the
he's not-
Joker. Or the law should be in place
He's
to
not
get rid of him.
working within the law. He's working outside of the law anyway, because he's a vigilante.
But-
So
Yeah.
But that's
Who
what I'm
gives
saying.
a
Like, look,
fuck?
I think they should walk Joker back into Arkham Asylum, throw him in the chair, and flip the switch. Like, I think his actions speak louder than that for time and time again. Like the whole due process thing. Yeah, like I mean, I think he's been judged on as many murders as he has done. I think he deserves the right to just be taken
Why?
into Arkham Asylum,
Why?
sat in a chair, and flip the switch. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to die. I'm just
okay,
saying,
from
why does
from the
Batman
moment-
have the right to kill someone? Why does Batman?
Batman's already become a vigilante, so he's already crossed the line.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
He
in the
doesn't have the right to
process,
beat the shit
and
out
in
of
the
people.
process of beating the shit out of him, I mean, it's a pretty thin line to cross.
Yeah, I mean, his morality stops at killing people because he's a sadist. he loves the repetition of
he
just beating
loves
the shit
getting
out of them
yeah.
over and over and over. He derives
Killing anyone
pleasure.
because comic books are kids.
He should be fucking
same way
Catman
80s
because he's like a hunter that stalks his fucking prey.
I mean, he's a bounty hunter that works for free.
No, he's got the money to.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. He works for free. Like he's a bounty hunter that works for free.
Yeah, but nobody's hired him as a bounty hunter.
He's not working, dude. He's definitely, this is
It's
his.
just it just
Jim
stopped
Gordon
the night.
hired him as a bounty hunter.
Who?
No,
Gordon.
that's not how it works.
but-
No.
That's
Jim
it
Gordon
just-
calls him. Jim Gordon calls him.
He calls him. Yeah, he calls him because he's like too fucking useless to do their bloody job, like all American cops are too fucking useless to do their fucking job.
Yeah,
most
let's
of the-
send
the
some
reality
bobbies
is
in there.
An
Let's
American
send some
cop
bobbies in
got a bullet
Gotham.
in the Joker's head, and the Batman should just. I mean, the Batman should have just become a copper. So fuck it, I'm Bruce Wayne, police officer. Now I can kill legally.
I mean,
Bang,
here's
you're
the
done.
thing, though. If Joker was black,
Oh, he'd be dead.
he'd be dead.
Oh, he'd be dead. Yeah,
Long
if
time
any of Batman's villains were black, they'd all be dead by now.
Does he have any black villains? I'm just trying to think on the top of my head.
No.
Does he have any
Not
black
one.
non-villains?
Or Two-Face, depending.
Yeah, there's Lucius
Two-Face-
Fox and his kid, who became a kind of
Two-Face has
Batman
been black.
character.
Some iterations of Two-Face has been black, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Black.
in some medias he has been, like I think in a cartoon and
Well, what's his
Yeah,
face?
I
Well,
think
Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent in the first two Batman movies. He
yeah,
never got to become Two-Face, but he did play Harvey Dent.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a bit of lack of diversity in comics, I must say.
Well, in DC there was always a lack of diversity.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very Aryan fucking comic book. That's what I used to call them.
Discount.
Yeah.
What they call them? What discount colors or something like that?
That's good. Oh,
Well, see what they've done with they've totally New 52 fucking. I say that in the sense of he's become different. Aquaman. He's no longer blonde and blue eyes. I mean, every rendition of Aquaman from now onwards is going to look like Jason Momoa. from
Yes, I can't complain.
yeah. I mean, I
just
don't know if
can't.
they've done that yet in the comics.
And personally,
But,
I don't know what version of Green Lantern they're going to do, but do John Stewart for fuck's
Dude,
sake.
John
I don't
Stewart
want
was the
Hal
better
Jordan.
Lantern
I
anyway.
want John Stewart. I want Idris Elba to play him. Let's do
No.
this.
No,
Who?
no, I don't want
You
fucking
don't
Idris
want
Elba
Elba?
to play him. No, Idris Elba's last couple of performances have been shit, and I'm a huge fan of his, but he's phoning in his performances of late. He's just
Okay,
getting
who
that
do you want
fucking
to
check.
play John Stewart?
I'd rather an unknown play him,
Can't we just have him
An unknown
somewhere
or
so
that-
we
that-
can look
that-
at him?
or I forget his name, but he's like in the show Power. 1 second.
Oh, the Black Lightning guy. But he'll be playing a different
yeah.
DC character. I'm not sure if I. Anyway, so we're done talking about Batman.
Yep.
I think so.
Hey, but really quick before I move on, all I want to say is I don't like
He's too old.
hate, I don't just hate I don't hate the fact that Batman kills people. I don't care. I'm just saying like you kind of go down that rabbit hole and there's like a bunch of branches we can go off into. So it's not like I'm like, oh, Keaton's Batman's bad because he killed people. No, I really didn't care. And I really don't care if he does or does not, as long as it's established in the universe, that this is the Batman that kills, this is the Batman that doesn't. Like,
I mean,
fair enough.
yeah. To be fair to that argument, I have no bones if he's killing in the films. I don't care. I don't get the fucking outrage behind it. It really annoyed me. It's like, don't be pussies. Come on.
I
It's an
just
older,
want
more
him
fed
to
up
kill.
Batman.
I want the option to
If he doesn't
kill
wanna
in
kill,
the
fine.
games. I want the option to kill in the games.
By the way,
that's actually
Jim-
probably a good idea. Like they should do an Arkham game, like a revision of the Arkham games where they have like fatalities and stuff in it. Like where you
yeah,
can
give the option.
Stop
You don't
now,
have
that's
to do
just
it, but give
too
the
good.
fucking option, because then you can just pick and choose who you kill. Because
Fucking batarang
fucking-
with blades. It just
fucking
severs heads in
Joker
a
would have
row.
been dead a long time ago.
yeah.
After that
Kills all
shit
the
he
villains.
pulled in Arkham Asylum, no, bitch, you're dead.
Yeah. They should do it.
Just going back to the Green Lantern, Ginge. I wouldn't want actually an unknown actor because someone like Jon Stewart would be like a late 40s, early 50s sort of character, wouldn't
Yeah,
he be?
that's
So
perfect for
I
Omari
would rather have a
Hardwick.
recognized actor. Yeah,
Omari
I'd
Hardwick.
rather have a
is-
recognized actor at that age.
Okay. Are we?
Trust me, the guy from Power, man, he'll be perfect. He's bloody good. Not Idris
if
fucking
we're
Elba.
if
I'm
we're
getting fed
done
up
with
with him now.
this, we can go. We can move on to the part we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, I was going to talk wrestling, but I can't be asked. Let's just go for the top 5.
Yeah, fuck wrestling.
All right,
Yeah,
it's
fuck
time for
wrestling.
my top 5. Bow, 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 pow. Zam's top 5.
Yeah, give us
All
more
right.
Johnny on my lacas.
Okay, now today's top 5. No, bring it back to everyone because I prefer it that way.
And we don't know what it
today-
is, by the way.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
So
fine,
we
fine,
don't
fine.
know what the top 5 is. That's
Okay.
great.
Today's top 5 is going to take a little sci-fi sort of tangent. It is the best Star Trek shows.
Yes.
I love.
Yes.
I absolutely
Yes.
fucking love Star Trek. I adore it. I have watched every episode of every show. I've watched all the movies. I can't get enough of it. I watched the animated series as well. I think Star Trek is fantastic.
That
Now,
is
I'm
the
sure make sure you understand that the Discovery stuff, that's not going to be part of this top 5. It's going to be basically the shows before the
is
Kelvin
the Orville
timeline came
gonna
along.
be?
Sorry?
Is the Orville gonna be?
Oh,
No,
please let's add the Orville. I love the
I mean,
Orville.
it should
Orville
at the very
Does
least
Star
be an
Trek
honorable
better than Star Trek
mention.
does.
Unfortunately, no, because Orville is not a Star Trek show. It is a stereotypical Seth MacFarlane ripoff bullshit.
What about Babylon 5?
Oh, I love
No.
Babylon 5 too. We can get into all of this. I love it.
No, but
Yeah, but this is about Star Trek.
We can go on about sci-fi shows generally, but this is Star Trek.
No, we're
Let's
joking. Yeah, carry on, dude. Carry on.
No problem. So basically, these will be all the shows that will happen before the Kelvin universe came into being. If you don't know what the Kelvin universe is, the Kelvin universe is the Chris Klein Star Trek films, and we don't want to talk about that too much either because it's about Star Trek shows.
It's
So
Chris Pine.
at number 5, in my opinion, this was the biggest disappointment of Star Trek shows. It only lasted 4 seasons. It had some good moments, but really it didn't add anything new, and they ended up having to harken back to shit like the Borg, which was a disgrace because they had no fucking ideas. That is Enterprise. This show wasn't even called Star Trek Enterprise. It was just called Enterprise. Now, I had my man Scott Bakula from Quantum Leap, and he pretty much acted like Sam from Quantum Leap throughout that show. I hope he's got some more acting styles, that guy. But yeah, even though some of the characters are quite likable, the show itself was quite bland and boring and didn't really achieve much because we were going back, not forward. What do you guys think of Enterprise? I'll start with you, Bobby, because you're shaking your head like crazy.
I got the bobblehead over here. So Enterprise is my second favorite Star Trek show because I get it. The first 2 seasons were a little bland, but when you got into season 3 and like the Xindi and that whole thing, and they were exploring into the expanse, and they really expanded on a lot of parts, just like where Starfleet came from, where they got their core values from, not just where they because they didn't get their core values in space just by deciding. I think that they started developing those core values because of the extreme measures they had to take in order to save Earth. So season 4 was amazing. They had so much crap in there that built the universe. Why the Klingons lost their ridges. I loved it. The xenophobia episodes.
With Peter Weller. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thoroughly like those episodes too.
The foundation of the Alliance, the Planetary Alliance, which would have years later formed the United Federation of Planets. Those are just some great, like season 4 was amazing. I was so pissed when they canceled it at season 4 because they were building up to the Alliance Romulan War, which, built up to the Federation being formed. And I was so mad that they were building that. Like there were episodes and like credit scenes and end of episodes that we're building. The Romulans, the Romulan ship with the holographic technology. So the one thing I will give you is, yeah, like, is it a little bit jarring to go from watching Enterprise to like the original series? Yeah, duh. But it's like one was made in the 60s, the other one was made in the 2000s. Like you gotta suspend reality a little bit.
That doesn't bother me too much. I just didn't feel the heart in this show like I felt with the others. You know, yeah, it just didn't do it for me as much. I didn't feel like they were progressing with this show much. Like they were having to like harken back to stuff which was gonna possibly happen in the future of this particular show, like the Borg, when nobody knew the Borg even existed. I remember Q specifically saying that no one's seen this species before. No human has seen this species before, but they have, because they fucking had to bring those fuckers in on Enterprise. It was not nice. I didn't like it. It wasn't. Stuff like that jars me as a fan. Keep the continuity. You know, I not for me. I wish it was better. I wanted to like it. You know, it just didn't do it for me. James, did you watch Enterprise at all?
Nope.
No, Chris?
Nope.
Okay. Now, I have to be honest with you. The remaining 4 shows, I love them. I love them all. I think they're all brilliant in their own unique ways. And to put one at number 4 would be an injustice, because I don't want to look at it as 4th place. But I'm going to go in order, actually. So we're going to go next now with Voyager. I thoroughly love this show. I think this show was really clever how it was done. It was basically one starship lost in the other side of the universe trying to get back home. There's no other Federation people around them to fuck with. You know, they're on their own, and they're still trying to keep Star Trek protocol. They're still trying to discover new things and you know, enhance their knowledge and get all the information they can. At the same time, they're also trying to go home. A lot of characters grew in this show. And obviously, we also had 7 and 9 come in later on, who added a nice visual presence to the show. You know, that's America's, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, she was one of the best things about it. She was acting really great in there as well. Her performance as an emotionless person was very, very good. You know, playing somebody with no emotion does require acting skills. Anyway, Ginge, I noticed you nodding your head regarding.
I caught a few episodes of
what
Voyager,
do you think of it?
and all I kept thinking about was it's fucking typical that the one where the ship is completely lost is because there's a female captain. I was just like, that's just so fucking typical. No sense of direction. Right? You know.
Yeah, well, she stopped to ask for directions, and then she blew up the array. So
yeah, exactly. And too many men proud to ask for directions as well, so they all just ended up getting fucking lost. Yeah, I caught a couple of episodes. I tried, but
what was the name of Bobby? What was the name of that sort of like rebel faction? They had to, in Star Trek, because of it. You know, Chakotay was part of it. Torres was part of it.
Oh, the Maquis.
The Marquis, that's it. Yeah, sorry, it slipped my mind. You know, I like the fact that, you know, like certain Marquis members had to fill in because certain crew members were dead. Their doctor was dead on the first episode. They now got a holographic doctor for the rest of the season, or for the rest of the series.
That's one of the parts I loved, actually. I really liked the holographic doctor.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights.
He has so much sass.
He's fantastic.
in DS9.
No,
I remember him from Inner Space. He's the cowboy. He's the best.
I know the doctor you mean, though. The bald.
Yeah. So you got anything to say about that series?
It's probably one of my least favorites. Not because of the premise. I mean, I do kind of like the idea of them. It's just the execution. I mean, and it's not even like everyone's like, oh, the Borg, because they ran out of ideas. No, it made sense because where they were at, they were eventually going to hit the Borg. I kind of didn't like how it was very coincidental that like all the spots they needed to fill were killed in the first episode. I would have actually liked it if like there was like two first officers, and I know that sounds stupid, but it's like one is a Maquis and then the other one's a Starfleet, and it's like you've got Chakotay, you know, manning the Maquis crew members and dealing with them, and then but then like eventually one of them would die, and there would only be one first officer. But I feel like it was like after the first episode, it was all like, I can't say that because I mean it's been a little bit since I watched the show, but heard that.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
One of the things about Star Trek generally which annoyed me the most was the fact that here we have a ship full of so many different people, yet everything is always focused around the same people, and that's what bugged me. And I remember there's one episode where they're doing some sort of field trip on some planet on episode of Voyager, and just so happens that Mr. Lieutenant Gary, I think he's only been on 3 episodes, this was his 3rd episode, was going to be part of that field trip. And I immediately knew that regardless of him not wearing a red shirt, you're a fucking red shirt, mate. Your time is done here, yeah? And he did get killed because this guy finally went on an away trip. When the usual fuckers are on an away trip, 9 times out of 10, in most of the shows, they never die. And that's what pisses me off about Star Trek. It's always the same people behind the helms, and those same people behind the helms end up going on the fucking planets. There's never any other fucking people. It's always the same fucking cunts.
But that's 90s television though. Like they weren't back in the 90s, they didn't really write people off like that. Like now I think in this day and age, I think we would see that. If Voyager came out now, I think we would see more of that. I think that the characters that just weren't working, kind of like Tom Paris and Chakotay, in my opinion, these may be some other people's favorites, but like those characters, I think they would have been written off somehow. I mean, Kess getting written off in the 3rd season in favor of 7 of 9 was a huge deal for Trekkies back then because they're like, how dare you take our people? I mean, they did it in Next Gen with Tasha Yar, and people like lost their shit.
Well, but Kess kind of made sense to me because she can only live till 9 years old. So I always thought to myself, how are they going to deal with this? Because she's going to be an old woman by season 7. She'll be on her fucking last legs.
The great part about her, though, was that you would see her go through her entire life in the span of this show. They just had to make her character more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Because when she like disappeared and stuff like that, that came out of left field for me. I didn't think they were going to get rid of her, but that's how things go.
That character was so weird to me. Like I haven't watched the whole Voyager series, but I remember that one that lived up to being 9 years old, which is weird as it is. But then it was this whole fucking mating ritual that was weird as fuck.
I remember that. That was so funny.
That's the one thing that I remember the most about this series is the fucking whole doctor rubbing her fucking feet. Yeah,
like this weird
toes.
stuff on her hands. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what
one of the writers had a foot
who
fetish
came
before
up
then.
with this shit, and what kind of drugs were they on when they came up with this shit? Because you have to be on really good drugs to come up with that shit.
Okay, well, we're done. We're talking about Voyager now, so we're going to go into the next show. Now, this show, I liked a lot. This show for me had the most depth when it came to stories, arcs, integral little bits and pieces. It was a political show. It was an espionage show. It was a spy show. It had everything. I really loved it. Had one of my favorite Star Trek characters of all time in Garrick. This is Deep Space Nine. Now,
how could DS9 be 3rd?
I'm doing it in order.
Seriously,
I haven't
That's
watched
number
it.
1.
Number 1.
That's number
Sorry,
1.
I'm paying homage. I'm paying homage.
Next Generation is number 1.
I told you earlier, I love all the shows equally. So I'm
Just fucking with you, dude. Just fucking with you, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to put them.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm about to rage quit.
They get to a certain level where it's just too hard to distinguish.
Yeah, I love them all, man. I love them all. So DS9. I'll start with you, Chris. What do you think of DS9?
I haven't watched all of it. I've watched very little of it, so I can't have a full opinion. But I thought that the captain was so fucking serious all the time.
I love the captain.
I don't know, because I don't know him well. I just thought he was very, very fucking serious all the fucking time.
He was a commander when the show first started, by the way. There was no captain. Finally, he got promoted to one.
Mm-hmm,
but the problem I find with Star Trek shows generally when it comes to the captains is that a lot of them have that same sort of ethical code right down to a T. And to a degree, the one who didn't was Benjamin Sisko, and I liked him for that. And I appreciate some of the crazy shit he would do to get the job done. That's also why it's just going a bit of a tangent here. That's why in Discovery, when it came to Lorca, I love that character. You know, he was like your stereotypical redneck sort of, you know, right-leaning sort of hardcore military sort of commander. It was totally different to all the peace-loving hippie commanders of previous, captains of previous Star Treks. And you know, we need to see more like that when it comes to Star Trek, like different, people in charge with different values. And to a degree, Benjamin Sisko had that. I'm sorry for cutting you off. Continue, Chris.
Oh, was I saying something?
All right, fine. Roberto.
Well, I'm saying I don't have enough information about DS9 to actually
Fair enough.
think, but that should tell you a lot, because I didn't feel compelled to watch it, while on the Next Generation I watched it multiple times.
They kept him
Because
fresh
it's
all the time.
objectively the fucking best. Anyway,
No, they
go.
kept him fresh all the time with Deep Space Nine. You know, you had people you're familiar with, like O'Brien,
Sure.
then they bring in Worf, then they change up Dax. You know, they did some really good things. I like what they did. You know, it was a really good show. You know, kept you on your toes, wondering, you know, if somebody else would die, and it was really good. I liked it. I liked the Major in it. You know, Constable Torres. What's the name of her? The Constable.
The Constable's Odo.
No, Odo. Sorry, the other lady. Security.
The Major, Nerys.
Yeah, and she was actually married to the Dr. Bashir. Was it Dr. Bashir?
Yeah, Dr.
it was
Bashir.
Bashir.
Yeah.
Them two are actually married in real life. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Really?
Yeah, right.
I actually didn't.
There you go. So that's when they were making out, and there's one scene they were making out. They were really making out, and there was one scene where, like, when she was pregnant as well on the show, it was because they were having a kid, obviously, and life imitates art. And when you are an actress is pregnant, they somehow write it into the show, and that's what they did with her. So yeah, it's clever. Okay, Ginger, what you got to say? Sorry, I apologize, Roberto. Oh, sorry, Roberto. Sorry, I apologize. James.
Okay, no
Roberto,
worries.
what you got to say about DS9?
Oh, I mean, I love this. Is my number one. Honestly, I mean, I love the way they handled all the characters. It's a hosh-posh of character. Like, it's even more so of a hosh-posh of characters than any other. Like, I know Star Trek tries to be diverse, but this Star Trek felt very, very diverse. They handled political. Like, I feel like, honestly, if DS9 took place on a ship, it would be just like the Orville. They handle like a lot of religious issues in their own way. They handle a lot of political issues in their own way. Good and evil, wartime, like all these issues and they handled them so beautifully. I mean,
fucking Garrick, mate.
I mean, they're
Garrick.
What?
Garrick, you got anything to say on Garrick?
Oh, I love Garrick. Garrick is one of my favorite. Look, I can give you names of character. I mean, there's Nog, there's Garrick.
Yeah.
There's God, see, now I'm losing them. I could give you a list of names of characters that had so much character development over the span of those 7 years. I mean, even look at Kira from the beginning to she was a Resistance member till towards the end of the series. She was having to relocate her own people. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much character development, and there's just so much going on that just.
It was resembling Nazis and the Jews, though, wasn't it? With the Cardassians and the Bajorans, for sure. I mean, I saw a lot of tones in that.
I mean, this show gave me so much, because them being on a Cardassian ship, it was such a different tone. You know, you have the Defiant, which was the Defiant was a nice way to kind of do away episodes, which I really think was good. You know, I mean, there was a good balance between away episodes and home episodes. It's kind of like baseball seasons. It's like you have some games away, some games home, but it's just like
a nice little ship, the Defiant, isn't it?
The what?
It's a nice little ship.
Oh yeah! Oh God, yeah. Dude, the Defiant was a beast.
You say me angrily, little.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, and the Dominion War was just so good. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's a space war. It's all it is flashy effects. If you look through that whole Dominion War, there wasn't a lot of
in the green and everything. I mean, they just kept bringing in all these characters. It was great. when you
And,
had
like-
that wormhole, it was endless ideas could come out of it.
Yeah.
No, I think this is definitely my favorite series by far. And I love the way like they handled all the issues that were just coming up, like in modern society. And I mean, that's kind of what Star Trek has always been, kind of an allegory of what's going on in the real world. And it's just like, and they just handle it, and they try to. It's just like what Seth MacFarlane does on Orville. He tries to plead with people, like, look, we should be handling these things differently. Let me show you. And I know it's a stupid sci-fi show, but this show really, really, it had heart and soul, and just everything about it just makes, I don't know. I've watched this show so many times through. And I get it. The first season's hard to get through, but once you get to that second season, man, it's on like Revlon.
Did you like what happened to Cisco at the end?
No, that's one. If I have one or two small complaints, it would be what happens to Cisco at the end. And oh god,
I mean, they all leave, don't they? Odo just becomes a pile of goo again. It's just like they all go their own way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if I don't know, if something happened with Odo differently than that. But I mean, he always wanted to go home. He even said that in one of the episodes. One of his things is he just always, even though he hated his people for what they were doing, he wanted to go home. And that's one of the greatest things about that show, was that it shows that there was a first time in Star Trek where you saw a side of people that wasn't just like this cookie cutter Starfleet holier than thou. Even Cisco was that way. Like Cisco had flaws, and they showed those predominantly. The whole the episode when they tried to get the Romulans involved in the war. Dude, Cisco did some shady stuff in that with Garrick.
Cisco was an arsehole. He bombed the planet so you can get this resistance fighter to give himself up, because he knew that the resistance fighter thought that he was a hero and that they were the bad guy. So he acted like a bad guy and bombed the shit out of a planet so you would give himself up.
That's what made Cisco so good, though. That's what made Cisco so good. He was
I love that episode so much, man. It was one of my favorite ever Star Trek episodes ever. It's one of the best. You need to see that more ruthlessness, because the way they bend over backwards sometimes to appease, it upsets me. I want to see different sort of characteristics from my captains, and Cisco definitely offered that.
Oh yeah,
James.
I'm the same as Roberto. I think. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a Star Trek fan. I like the original series. Well, as a kid, obviously, you watch it as an adult. It's silly. Next Generation, I just couldn't get into. But this one, like my friend made me watch it, and I really enjoyed it. I just loved the diversity of characters. The fact that everything's like, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of grey as well, which is what makes more compelling viewing for anyone, basically. And that's and that's why I loved. That's why I enjoyed DS9, because the rest of the Star Trek ones, for me, I just was like, okay, it's not for me kind of thing. But DS9, man, oh man. That was just I mean, I've got nothing more to add that Roberto hasn't added already. I've only watched it through once, the series. I haven't repeat watched it like I have, say, Babylon 5. But I enjoyed it.
Okay, folks. All right, so on to number 2. Now, this was the successor to the one that started them all, and it had a lot to live up to. For Christ's sake,
I'm gonna punch you in the face right now.
Why?
Because Next Generation is number 1.
I'm putting it at number 2 for my, because if you can see there in the bottom corner, it says Zam's top 5. All right.
Yeah, but Zam sucks.
Yeah, whatever. This is Zam's top 5.
Well said, Zam. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we say.
Yeah. So this was the successor to the one that started, or had a lot to live up to. Now, when you have someone like Captain Kirk, this handsome man, being the captain, and then you get this bold old English guy taking over from him, you think to yourself, fuck, is this shit going to go very far? But boy, did it. This show was fantastic. It's got memorable characters once again. Like people like Data, who to a degree was like the Spock of the show. I mean, everyone loves Data. There's not a person who doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe that they don't love the emotional chip part of Data too much, but overall he offered a lot. Worf came in, made you realize that there's more to Klingons than meets the eye. You had people like Geordie, who obviously was famous for wearing the visor thing. It was a really great show, and it lasted 7 seasons. It made several movies afterwards. People, when they think of Star Trek, they don't necessarily think about Kirk and Spock. They do think about these guys. They actually got through the Kirk and Spock era and made a mark for themselves. This is Star Trek Next Generation. Roberto, what do you think of Star Trek Next Generation?
I mean, look, Next Generation definitely did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to be the successor to the original series, or a revitalization of the franchise. Because technically it's not even, I mean, it is a sequel to the original series, but it's like 20 years later. Second off, I know plenty of people who would much rather, who are much more attracted to Picard than Kirk, because even back in the 60s, a lot of them said, yeah, no. They like Picard better. I think the writer's room was like, okay, what can we do? How can we take this original series and make it different? I mean, we just turned Spock into a robot. Duh.
Androids
no, and he's
not a robot, he's an android.
Yeah, you're right, he's an android. I had to run through my definitions of whatevers. He's not an artificial human anyway. But I feel like this show, I mean, it definitely, it's my third out on my list, because mine goes DS9, Enterprise, Next Gen. I know people are going to give me hate for that, but I really enjoyed Enterprise. Anyway, but I think it did a good job at revitalizing the series, and I think that a lot of the stuff that they did on that show did set the tone for where Star Trek was going. But like as execution goes, I kind of fell off. I mean, there was a good couple seasons in the middle, like 3, 4, 5 are probably really good. 6 and 7 were meh, and 1 and 2 were meh. So it's like,
they introduced the Borg to us. I mean, they become arguably the biggest villains in Star Trek. Since they came along bigger than the Klingons, possibly. And the Klingons are not necessarily.
I would not say that the Borg are bigger than the Klingons. And on top of that, they established in Next Generation that the Klingons could actually be their allies, be with Worf. And I'm glad they did that. Like, I think Worf is a great character. I loved him on Next Gen. I loved him on DS9. But I mean, but then 7 of 9 did the exact same thing in Voyager. Oh, the Borg can be our friends.
No,
there is a difference because Borg is assimilate species, and 7 and 9 was assimilated.
The Borg is Apple.
But whilst Worf is actually a Klingon, there is a difference.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that, but at the same time, I mean, as I said, it did a lot of good things for. Let's look at it from a franchise point of view. Next Gen did a lot of good things, technically universe building and tone setting, and it did a lot of those things very well. But I feel like, especially Deep Space Nine after that, really perfected what they started. I think Voyager did a better job at doing the week-to-week episodes than Next Gen did. Next Gen was kind of just like, hey, we're going here next. Hey, we're going here. And I know that's the point of the show. I get it. But at the same time,
it was villain of the week all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of like what Enterprise did with that, whereas they started doing multi-part. They went all over the place, but they did multi-parts and it kind of expanded on the stories. Whereas they didn't have like 47 minutes per episode to wrap everything up. Like, I kind of liked it if there would, when they had 2-parters, especially Best of Both Worlds, and oh god, there were other ones that I liked, but like a lot of the 2-parters were good.
Best of Both Worlds is awesome, man. Best of Both Worlds is one of my favorite 2-parters ever.
You know what? I loved it too, and then I went back and watched it a couple years ago, and I'm like, this isn't as good as I remember. Now, was it pretty shocking? Like, was it pretty shocking that Picard became like a Borg? And yeah, that was crazy. Like, I was like, oh shit. But at the same time, it was just like, was it a good episode? Like, was it a good like set of episodes? It was above average, I would say. So I mean, like, I don't know. But as I said, I have a lot of respect for Next Gen, but it's nowhere near my favorite.
As a fan of
that-
expanded universes, Star Trek Next Generation's got the ball rolling for all the other shows pretty much we've had, in my opinion, because they're all part. It's the original Star Trek series is several decades away from this lot, and I like the fact when you see like one of the Star Trek movies and you see Picard and Janeway talking to each other, I fucking love that shit.
Oh
That's why
yes, I love that.
I love shit like that.
But as for what Jason says, well, he's like the king of unpopular opinions. So
I mean, we're already seeing now in that
TNG is the best. Period.
The 7 and 9 is going to be in the Picard series, and she's acting more human than ever. So it'll be good to see her evolution. I'm looking forward to that. And I just want to something I forgot to mention earlier, by the way, going way back to Enterprise. When they got the ridges off the head, obviously now in Discovery, the Klingon have got ridges on them. There's no explanation of that, and that's 10 years before Star Trek. I mean, it's fucking with my brain, all that shit. By the way, yeah.
Actually, I think it was explained. Now, keep in mind, I haven't watched Discovery, so if there's something in the show that makes it, but from what I was told, that the Klingons they encountered in Discovery were like an oh god, what's that? Like a nomad species, or not segregating. What's the word? What was Japan up until about 100 years ago?
No, but it's not really that, Bobby, because there was Klingon Empire shit going on regarding that. There were different factions going on regarding that.
I heard they were like they
wasn't one faction,
segregated themselves from all the other Klingons.
There was multiple factions of Klingons, and they all wanted to be leader, and ended up being somebody. But look, I'm not going to let that go on too much. Then we are going on a tangent here, but we're going off topic. Regarding Next Generation, I'll come back to you, Bob, if you've got anything more to say. But James, what you got to say about Next Generation? I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Yeah, you're
bored the shit out of me. Didn't like it at all. I lasted, I think, 1.5 series, and I was just like, "Fuck this shit."
Explain yourself,
Penny. Watch seasons 3, 4, and 5. Those are the good ones. I would say at least try
too far gone. I'm not enough of a Trekkie to invest my time in that. I was excited for it, obviously, because I at the time I loved the original series, but just didn't do it for me at all. Yeah, nothing more to add. Just found it boring.
Chris?
I think it's the best thing ever.
Fantastic.
Honestly,
Why?
Because the original series I never really watched because it always seemed very dated to me, and I don't like Shatner. Like, fuck him. I cannot stand him.
Fair enough.
But
no one likes Shatner, not even his fucking colleagues.
Picard is just so fucking good. And okay, I'm a bit biased because I love Patrick Stewart. He's like so good. He's the best. But I like it on so many levels. I like the cast. I like how things are going. And okay, compared to today's things, it can also be considered dated. But I don't give a fuck. It was good. I liked I don't know. It was fucking great. I fucking loved it.
Am I the only one?
I like Data. I like Data. Like, seriously.
My only issue, Chris, with Star Trek Next Generation is that we have a Captain Jean-Luc Picard who sounds like Captain John Smith, and that for me is a bit of an issue. What it is with Americans making French people sound British, I have no idea, but they love doing that shit. What's the Musketeer for fuck's sake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That always bugged me. That bugged the fuck out of me.
But the other thing, how Riker's sitting on the chairs. Have you noticed that? That was so fucking funny.
But that's because he had back problems.
You haven't noticed that?
No, he had back problems. Jonathan Frakes had back problems. That's why he couldn't sit in the chairs normally.
Oh, I thought he did that because he was tall or something.
No, I mean, he is tall, but no, he had back problems. That's why he couldn't, because after multiple takes, his back would start to hurt. So it was easier for him to step over the chairs and sit down.
Yeah,
because it was easier on his back.
So cool though.
I'm actually glad you brought up Jonathan Frakes, because he was the guy who was the chef on Enterprise. After all these years, we found out that the chef was, but we never knew what the chef looked like. He was always mentioned. We never saw him, and it was Jonathan Frakes. So all the episodes of Enterprise we watched, were they just basically a holographic projection?
No, that was in that holodeck simulation. You play the part of the chef. That in that holodeck simulation that he was doing. Franks wasn't the chef in that episode. Like that, you know how like in holodeck, you play a certain character and you look like.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm just saying, was all of those episodes a holodeck simulation?
God, I hope not, because they were good episodes.
Yeah.
Except for and even the last one was good. Except for the whole...
Anyway, it would have been funny if they were all just a projection, just like that episode of Voyager where we found out there was like projections of what Voyager was, that they were like some sort of warship, and then then you found out that the people were given the wrong history regarding Voyager, that they weren't a warship. I'm not sure if you remember that particular episode.
Speaking of holodecks, I'm reminded of the Orville and that episode with the holodeck porn thing.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. I fucking love the Orville, man.
Well, look, DS9 kept it real with the holo suite. So they kept it real with that.
But yeah, sorry, I'm honorable mention the Orville here, because the Orville does one thing. It feels like TNG, and it keeps you in that space where you're about to take it seriously, and then it fucks with you. And I love this. I fucking love it so much. It's done.
Yeah, I like the Orville a lot as well. Very refreshing, considering where Star Trek's going now with Discovery. It's no longer a villain of the week; it is serialized. I don't mind it too much. I'm looking forward to the Picard series. I hope that's going to.
I'm looking forward.
The trailer for season 3 of Discovery literally just dropped just now.
Oh, awesome! I'll be looking forward to that.
You want to check that out?
No problem.
I'm looking forward to that Picard series, though. Funnily enough, I don't know why. It's Trek.
But you haven't watched TNG. That's the whole Picard, shtick,
Yeah, I don't know why I'm interested in the fucking series. I just am.
Now, end of the day, as I said earlier, I love the first 4 different series of Star Trek, from the original right down to Voyager. I have no preference. I love them all individually. So just to keep things honorable, I'm putting Star Trek, the original series, at number 1, because it started it all. We've got memorable lines and memorable ideas, all from Star Trek, the original series. It had a diverse cast as well.
It had the first interracial kiss on TV.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think there's over 60 episodes of Star Trek. It only lasted 3 seasons. I think 22 episodes a season, something like that. Had memorable episodes like the Gorn. Oh my god! I mean, that's just us watching alone. I mean, that is just so bloody funny seeing Kirk fight that and him rolling around and stuff. And if you want to have a good idea of what Captain Kirk is like in one film, just watch Galaxy Quest, because Tim Allen does a great portrayal of what Kirk is like in that film.
Isn't it funny that Captain Kirk was always on the bridge and he ended up under it?
Oh man, it's always funny with the shirt. Now, you also had Spock as well. He was a half human, half Vulcan alien person who was the first officer. He was science officer as well, and he brought calm to the group. You had Dr. McCoy. He was maybe the miserable old man of the group, and he brought humor in his own way, and the direction of Spock was also great. Several films have come after the series. Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 is a trilogy in its own right. Fantastic. Star Trek 2, one of the best sci-fi films ever made. I'm losing my train of thought here. So, Ginger, what would you like to say about the original Star Trek series?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I loved it. I absolutely loved the original Trek series.
Is that a
A lot of fun. That's his vibrator there. Very nice.
That's the phaser.
Yeah, for the butt. Yeah, I enjoyed the original for what it was. It was camp. It was fun. It was explorative.
It was unique at the time, you know.
Yeah, it was very unique for its time. Obviously, by the time like we grew up watching it, it wasn't. But at the time, just Gene Roddenberry was very like progressively minded. He knew what the future was going to be like, and he's proven right. People back then scoffed at it, but he was right. He was right in 1,000 fucking ways. It was just amazing what it did. But for me, as good as the series like was at the time, obviously you rewatch it now and you're like, all right, it's campy, but it's fun to kind of still watch. The films that just blew me away, especially 2, 3, and 4, just amazing. And I remember going to see those in a cinema and just loving it, just like.
Yeah.
And then they hit us with
I think Star Trek 3 doesn't get enough respect because it's quite similar to Star Trek 2. But I think that's also a great film. Star Trek 4, obviously, they wanted to go with a more happier tone with all the fucking gloom and doom of the previous 2 films. But they're great. And
Star Trek 4 was directed by Leonard Nimoy, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't 2, 3, and 4 directed by Leonard Nimoy? I think all of them were.
Were they? Oh,
2, 3, and 4 was Leonard Nimoy. Star Trek 5 was William Shatner.
Yeah.
Oh,
what happened there?
Sam. Oh, what the fuck?
We lost Penny.
We lost Penny, yeah. But I wanted to add something in regards to the whole Star Trek universe in general that I think it's very, very important is
You took my spot, Penny.
the absence
suck
of...
it, loser.
I don't know. Maybe I can move you around. No, I cannot.
No, you don't have to. I was kidding.
But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the absence of monies and things like that. Like, I think to me, Star Trek, especially Next Generation, resonated with me so much because of how the society worked. Like, it was you no longer worked for money. You worked for self-improvement, for self-evolution and things like that. And these are the things that resonated with me very, very much. And this is why I loved Next Gen as much as I did. Because it's this is my fucking life's dream, to see a society like that without the Federation hierarchy. Because fuck that shit. So yeah, I want an anarchy utopia, man.
Yeah. So just to go back, it was Nicholas Meyer that did Star Trek 2, and he also did my second favorite, which was Undiscovered Country as well.
I love Undiscovered Country.
Me too.
I like it.
Loved it.
Christopher Plummer, by the way, still doing films to this day, and the guy's close to his 90s. Love that fucking actor. He's just, is he knighted? If he isn't, he should be, because that guy's just a bollocks. He's, I love the way you quote. I love the fact that in Star Trek 6 he was quoting Shakespeare all the time, and I love the way they came back at him as well. And I just remember Kurt just going fire like that, like
exactly. Yeah, it was fantastic. I love Undiscovered Country.
But it's funny. One thing I want to bring up regarding Star Trek, the original series, is the fact that I'm not sure if many people know this, but everyone, maybe apart from Leonard Nimoy, hated William Shatner. George Takei famously hated him. James Doohan fucking hated him. I'm not sure about the guy who played Chekhov. His name forgets me.
But he sucks.
But they genuinely hated him. It was kind of surprising. Also, DeForest Kelly despised playing Bones after a while, but for him it was a paycheck. But he felt like the role trapped. It trapped him. Like, he didn't get him very far. He's gone.
You want to know what? Bringing up Bones. You want to know what most impressed me? Like, is how Carl Urban channeled DeForest Kelly in his performance for like in the new Star Treks. That was like I saw Carl Urban was going to be Bones in Star Trek 2009, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, how are they even going to make that work? I walked out of it like, that's my favorite part of the whole freaking movie. Like, was him.
Yeah, he was the best character in that god awful shite. He was the best character.
Carl Urban is a world class actor.
And
everyone else was your typical J.J. Abrams casting of bland, fucking pretty people with no character. And then you have Carl Urban and Simon Pegg, who are just like, boom, a world of their own.
I know, and Simon Pegg was barely in the movie, and he was like one of the best parts.
Yeah.
Look, personally, I did not. I saw Bones when I saw Carl Urban. I didn't see Scotty, regardless of the accent. I didn't see Scotty. When I saw Simon Pegg,
but it wasn't the same.
It wasn't James Doohan. Because I just thought.
I think Kirk wasn't Kirk in this.
Scotty is actually a very confident character. You know what I mean? He's he walks very proud. He's quite a little bit arrogant. And I never saw any of that in Simon Pegg's performance.
Yeah.
And that's so he believes in his own ability and stuff like that. And I wanted to see more of that, but nevertheless, their performances were good. But Carl Urban smacks it. And one day that guy will win a fucking Oscar if you think about it. But he's just so fucking good.
He's better because he's
kind
awesome.
of role. Yeah, he's fucking one of the best around.
Yeah, one of the best around.
From being something unassuming in Lord of the Rings to where he is now, it's just Judge Dredd, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, right.
It's awesome, man.
But he took that role because he wanted to have fun with it. Like, it's so we didn't even get to really see his face the entire time. He didn't care. He just wanted to have fun with that role.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously, him and the boys as well. But okay, so that's my lot with Star Trek.
Nice top 5, dude. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it should have been its own show.
That one was for you, Roberto. That was for you, mate. Well, I know how much you like Star Trek. You're welcome, dude.
I'll set my phaser to vibrate later for you.
It's boldly gonna go where no man's gone before or vibrator.
Okay.
There is no other topics in news that's come up.
And we've already gone over time today.
Yeah, we went way over.
Doesn't matter. It was fun today.
Way over
yeah,
time.
it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
From nothingness to just like good topics. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Well, then we'll leave it all for next week. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.